Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Are we heading into another international health crisis? I mean, we've been living with the current one for 20 months, and we've seen the destruction that the government has imposed upon people due to it. But could there be another one lurking? Is what we've experienced in the last year and a half just been a beta test? Because that's what a lot of us, myself and many of you, feel, that it's this one is not the end-all be-all thing. This one is kind of tenderizing us for something else that's on its way. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. Before I get started, I'm trying constantly to think of ways to help those of you to make connections with each other. And it's difficult. I've tried different things that either just didn't work or was just too much to handle. But I did think of something that I could do for those of you, because I'm starting to get this kind of feedback from people. If you, as a listener, are in charge or somehow connected with a group in whatever area, wherever you're at, whatever state, whatever region, maybe you don't want me promoting it on here because you fear of just, any kind of people showing up. And I get that a lot, because, some of these groups are in smaller groups, smaller buildings, smaller facilities, and they just can't handle a bunch of people showing up. But if you kind of run one of those or are connected with one and you want to be a contact person in your area, let me know. Shoot me an email, this email address that should pop up here down below. And in the subject line, make sure you put something to catch my eyes, because I get 200 or 300 emails a day usually, and so try to think of something to kind of catch my eyes. Big bold letters, whatever, all caps. But anyways, give me your name, your area of operations, that you meet regularly, that kind of stuff. You don't have to be specific, but some details, because I'm getting emails all the time from people asking, hey, do you know of anything going on in such and such area? I live in northern Nevada, and do you know of any group over here? I live in southwest Texas or southeast Texas, or that kind of stuff. So if you want to, if you're willing to open your doors up to new people that are trying to find like-minded folks to kind of connect with, send me that email, let me know. Like I said, you don't have to give any kind of detailed personal information, and all I'm going to do is just pass along your email address. So if someone shoots me an email and says, hey, I live in, Southeast Texas, do you know of anything? And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've got this guy here, this group here, and then I'll just give them your email, and that's about it. So we'll try that and see if it helps. Again, I don't have a lot of funds, and I don't have a lot of time because I'm doing all kinds of other stuff, but I'm trying to figure out ways that I can help folks connect. So that might be a way to do it. Also, if you're in the market for some good coffee, Expedition Joe coffee is super good. I know it's like a little commercial, and no one likes those, but I'm telling you the reason why. And I get offers all the time from companies offering to send me things and all that kind of stuff, and I don't like taking them, but I'm telling you, and I pay for my coffee from them. But this is a fellow patriot, a fellow prepper, a God-fearing man, family. We've talked on the phone several times. This is a good guy that started this company, Expedition Joe, and it's super good quality coffee. It's all small batch produced. It's very fresh, very good. If you've ever tasted, real fresh roasted coffee, that's what you're getting with these guys. And they have a lot of different flavors. So there's a link down in the description below to go to Expedition Joe Coffee and pick you up some, because you're helping out a brother, right? You're not sending your money to some company that's, supports anti-gun, policies, or that's some crazy left-wing communist, whatever, type of company. You're supporting a friend and a brother by buying from Expedition Joe. All right, so what am I talking about today? Well, let's start off with something that kind of popped up in the news yesterday, and then we'll expand on that. Some of you may have heard that up in Pennsylvania at I think Merrick is how it's pronounced. It's a pharmaceutical company. they discovered some vials of smallpox. Not smallpox vaccine, from what I understand and reading, but the smallpox virus itself. Up in Pennsylvania, and according to the news, the FBI and the CDC are investigating, and it's great because those are the two agencies, branches of government, whatever you want to call them, little departments that are the most trustworthy. I mean, we all know that these are the FBI and the CDC are above board on their reputation, so it's so good that they're actually taking the lead and doing the investigation. Does this mean anything? Is this just some weird fluke in the news? Is it meaningless? If that was the only thing happening with this, I would say, okay, it's possible that it's just a weird little thing in the news, something unusual that happened, and we move on from it. But there's too much going on. And everything that I'm going to talk about in this video, I'm going to present you with some facts. And I'm not making any, statements that this is what's definitely going to happen. But I'm telling you, as many of you know, when there's all these little coincidences that start happening, it makes you start to think that maybe there's something going on, right? And so that's what's happening involving the smallpox. So when I started the video, I said, I think what we've been living in is some type of beta test. And I truly believe that. Is there something out there that people are getting sick by? Yes. Have there been actually real people really get sick and really die? Absolutely. I don't deny that for one moment. But I think part of the overall goal was to kind of condition people. There is a video, I think I will make it on my Patreon today, because I know if I put that on here, I would most definitely get a strike against me. But basically, I don't even know how to say it without getting a strike against me. There's some people that would know admitting things that we already knew were true about it. You'll just have to read between the lines. And if you're on my Patreon, it should show today. Anyways, what's been going on, I fully believe, it's all orchestrated, it's all for a purpose, and there's multiple purposes. Part of it is to bring down economies and bring all this stuff down, but I think one of it is to see how far they can push something with the American population, to see what they can get away with, to condition us. And it's very possible they were conditioning us because something bigger and better is going to happen at some point in the near future. And this isn't just me saying this. This is, well, other people saying this. Bill Gates, he's been saying this for a while, for months. He's been talking about the next one. The next one. We got to get prepared for the next one. This one was kind of getting people woke up, about the dangers of it. But the next one's going to be deadly. The next one's going to be bad. Well, I thought this one was so bad that we had to shut down governments all over the planet and take away rights from people. I mean, so it's not bad? Then why did we do all this? It's interesting. To start off my little rabbit trail here today, I'm going to go back to 2001. I have talked about this before, but it's been a while, and there's been a lot of new viewers since I last talked about it, so maybe you just don't know about it. Myself, other YouTubers, people in the media, even the president himself has used the term dark winter a lot of times. And not referring to dark winter meaning like actual physical cold winter. Some people use the term to refer to possibly a grid down or all these other possible scenarios, like a black swan event or something that's going to happen. Dark winter really kind of originated, at least in the sense that we're talking about it, from a military and / government training games that they did back in 2001. 2001, there was a little training scenario that they did, kind of a war game, called Operation Dark Winter. And in Operation Dark Winter, there was a global smallpox health crisis. And in that, it brought down governments to their knees. It created absolute havoc. It destroyed economies. It did all sorts of things. Since that particular war game, there has been, I think, 7 or 8 additional ones. and with the last one being Event 201, which happened in October of 2019. And that particular one, the one that happened in October 2019, which if you remember, think back, I know that's a long time ago, that was just a couple of months or so before we started hearing the first whispers of something spreading around in China, causing mass amounts of people to just fall over dead in the streets. But the Event 201, which was put on by Johns Hopkins, I think University, their medical area, by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, World Economic Forum, and that one was also a global health crisis, and it was a coronavirus that caused it. And so there's been a series of these little kind of war games, starting with Operation Dark Winter, which was a smallpox. Okay, so that's set. And then yesterday we hear in the news, like I just said, up in Pennsylvania, that they found like 15 vials of it. And they're trying to figure out, where this came from. Smallpox was supposedly, eradicated, what was it, 40 some years ago or whatever. And then now all of a sudden these vials. Well, there's a whole lot more to it, folks. Back in the summer of this year, the FDA, quietly kind of, because it was never in the news, they approved a new drug to combat and to fight weaponized smallpox. That's interesting. Just a few weeks ago, the U.S. government purchased $114 million worth of a new vaccine for smallpox. And then just a few weeks ago also, the 1st of November, Bill Gates himself, the guy that just knows everything, started talking about the dangers, warning people that that there could be potentially a massive global smallpox outbreak and epidemic. And then so all of that's happened leading up to yesterday finding out, well, there's some, lab up in Pennsylvania that has some vials of it. And then, of course, the last year or two, last winter, this winter, leading up to this winter, we've been hearing all kinds of politicians, everyone from the president himself before he was elected, various people in government, using this term, there's going to be a dark winter, there's going to be a dark winter, there's going to be a dark winter. So, is there a connection? Are we looking at the potential of a smallpox outbreak? I'm not on here bloviating this, building this up because of something that's these little pieces of the puzzle in the news, and then of course there not being anything. All I'm doing is saying that it does bring up some curious, questions, and considering what we know in the past of how they've done things, I think that there is a possibility that it could be happening at some point. And so I just wanted to put this video out as kind of a warning. It's no reason to start panicking, at least I don't think so yet. I did see, I think it was up in Maryland yesterday, it's not the same thing, but up in Maryland there was someone that was a confirmed case of monkeypox up in Maryland, and I know it's not the same thing. But a lot of us have wondered, what's the whole deal? What's the end game? I mean, they were telling us many times that if enough people just get this, everything will go back to normal. Well, a lot of people have gotten that according to their numbers. It's not gone back to normal yet. I mean, Ireland, they're going back there. They're doing another big lockdown. Austria, they're doing another lockdown. Lots of countries. We talked about this the other day. Sweden, or not Sweden, Norwegian countries. A lot of those countries up there, they're going back into some level of lockdown. There's mandates all over. Yes, the court system is kind of bouncing back and forth and trying to figure out if the current ones here in the United States are legal or not. I mean, you and I know what the answer is to that one. But the fact is that, well, if, enough people get it, then things will go back to normal, but a lot of people are getting it and things still aren't going back to normal. And I think that they have to keep the conditioning long enough for the next big scariest thing. Because do you really think that they're going to, the amount of power that this government and governments around the world has taken, the amount of your rights that they've taken, the amount that they have consumed, do you think that they're just going to say, okay, it's over now. We're going to let everything go back to normal. We're going to relinquish this authority. You know, you don't have to worry about us identifying you anymore and tracking you and getting, you know, little, you know, government IDs, digital ID. You don't have to worry about that anymore. We can just go back to normal. No, it's never going to go back to normal. We know that already. And so they're going to have to keep, you know, they're going to milk this one for as long as they can. But at some point, there's got to be something else happen. And is this one? I don't know, but I will say that it does seem pretty suspicious that there's several things that's been happening. You know, a bunch of vaccines purchased recently, Bill Gates talking about it, putting out a warning, and then now we're finding this, the vials that they don't understand where they came from or what they're there for. I definitely think it's something to keep an eye on. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that I think are distractions. And as much as I have a strong opinion about, say, the case in Kenosha and the guy there, or even like the January 6th people and a lot of the stuff going on, I think still in the end, a lot of it's distracting. A lot of it is being done to try to keep our attention away from the big things that are really going to happen. Or could there be riots because of Kenosha? Sure, absolutely. Could that lead to, you know, worsening problems? Absolutely. It still doesn't, you know, change the fact that I believe that a lot of these things are distracting people. And at some point, there's got to be the next phase of all this stuff that's going on. It has to. That's how these things work. That's how they say they're going to work. Look in their own documentation and their own plans of what they say they're going to do and how they're going to do it. It comes in waves. It comes in phases. And so I'd say we're probably getting close to another phase in their big reset plan. So continue to get yourselves ready, folks. Get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and most especially spiritually, because the world is forever changing and it's worsening. And we all know that. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.